All right, guys. Anybody looking for the broadcast?
All right, let's. All right, let's get this.
Really?
I'm just saying. I mean, I was just literally reading a tweet about it, so it just kind of. I was like, all right, well, I guess we're right there on that line. But anyways, a lot of good fun tonight. Gonna talk about the 24 Hours of Daytona and the IMSA race that was this weekend. And yes, we are going to mention the Mazdas and so on and so forth. We'll talk about NASCAR's return in a Coliseum, and a good friend of NASCAR is going to potentially make a return with it this weekend. So, and it's not a human of any kind. It's more of a moisture. Also, we'll talk about league racing. Telder, we'll let him recap his week before we forget about him again. We'll talk about how VRs are not good for iRacing.
Oh, man.
You should have known this was coming, Miles.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are they not good?
I think so. I
We'll
personally
see.
think they're a terrible idea for iRacing. I don't have a problem with them, just iRacing. Let's see. And also how Miles won a championship last Wednesday night. So that and all types of good stuff. Plus Casey Carrington will be here to talk about the season preview of Friday night's Daytona race and the 14 races coming up that I'll let you take a guess who will be in that race. Stephen Miles. So in case you haven't realized, Miles races everywhere.
I tried to.
Yes. How was everyone's weekend?
Too
Uneventful.
fast for me.
I do agree on the too fast part, and I would say it was uneventful, but I ran a 3-hour Suzuka endurance race Sunday. And
yeah, we heard you get mad. Don't worry.
Yeah,
we were there. We were there.
I got quite emotional. I run flawlessly for about 2 hours and 40 minutes, and then I forgot which hairpin I was in, and well, it was the one that you had to slow down a little bit more, and threw it in the barrels. Thankfully, the car that caught me coming back on track and destroyed my left side hasn't protested me as of now. But
just wait for it
before the miles comes out. Well, the worst part about it is the guy I hit ended up being disqualified at that.
The following is a special presentation. From the Captain Esports Network.
All right, in the desert we are as we get ready for round number 5 of the Captain Esports Network, the Sim500 in the NC811.org Grand National or Xfinity Series, as we know it as, about to go racing for the 5th time here in the 2024 season, here for 125 laps around the Phoenix Raceway, virtually on iRacing. We welcome you in on this Sunday evening. For those who are kind of curious what they just heard audio-wise before the race, a little bit of the Scalicast for you, last week's podcast, where we talked a little bit about Miles' racing and all that type of stuff. I actually had it queued up, but it changed up on me and threw me for a curveball, but that's part of learning live TV and stuff as you do this, or live streaming or whatever. Anyhow, we got a fun race in store for you tonight as we get you ready for 125 laps. As mentioned, got a big field, 40 cars at least here right now. And we are set to see if we can do 5 winners in 5 different races here at the Phoenix Raceway. I'm the captain. Happy Sunday. And let's get you set up with the point standings to start with as we enter round 5 here this evening of this NC811.org Xfinity season. McMillan, after his win last week, thriller with Larry Page, he leads right now by 28 points over Scott Simley. Stephen Miles up to 3rd in points. Yes, that same Stephen Miles we referenced in the podcast that you heard us talking about. Anthony Calantoni 4th, Mike Kelly 5th, Braxton DeWeese is 6th, moving up 5 spots last week. Chad Coleman moves down to 7th. Joe Hudson, Charles Van Schiken, E. Joe O'Rourke, your top 10 in points. And 16 cars going to make the playoffs coming up in about 20 weeks or so. And that'll set up the champion come the end of August. So plenty of racing to go. Plenty of things can happen. But it is the McMillan show so far here at Sim500 in the Xfinity Series. Again, presented by NC811.org. McMillan with 1 win, 3 top 5s, and 4 top 10s. He has the best average finish. He has the lowest amount of incident points. He's got everything covered right now. The most laps led in the league. And he's also got our information tonight about Mac McMillan. Went and did some research on the man and reached out to him. He threw me some info and some pretty good little nuggets here on this driver. And a driver that, by the way, has a very interesting job. He drives or rides, or whatever the proper term is, a crane. And I'm not talking about like a bird or anything. I'm talking about like the crane you see in the air that puts up big buildings and things like that. That is what he does, which kind of caught me off guard. A crane operator. He's an Alabama football fan. Joey Jattina likes him already, I see. He's got 2 daughters, and basically his cousin Brent Scott drives the 33 car. That was a cool stat there. And also Terry Lambert, I believe, drives here also. But he only races once a week, and it's usually here at Sim500. So he doesn't really get much practice or that kind of thing. So the guy's obviously got some talent in that car. Let's just put it like that. And he shows up and goes out here and has been doing pretty well here this season. He's actually here for the race. He was actually questioning if he was going to get here on time because of said crane work he had to do here this evening. But let's get a quick minute here. We got about 5 minutes or so before we go into qualifying, and let's see if we can grab a word with Mac McMillan here as he gets ready to start Phoenix Raceway, and he has had all the momentum in the world. And I know he's in here somewhere down here with his cousin hanging out in chat. And let's bring him up here as Mac joins us, of course. We gave the information about you, Mac. Obviously, the more crazier question I want to ask you is, what in the world are you doing on a crane?
I don't know how they let me up there, man. I don't know why they let me up there. But I just moved some steel coils around all day.
Are you like the newest employee? Is that what it is?
No. I've been actually worked on the railroad for about 13, 14 years, something like that. And I took this crane operator job, and it's a job. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, that sounds like a tall task, if you will.
This is more fun. You know what I mean?
Of course,
this is a lot more fun.
I mean, yeah. I mean, what can go wrong on a crane? But anywho, man, hey. What a start so far for you, and from somebody who apparently doesn't get a chance to race much, obviously raising a family and that kind of thing, to come out here each week and be competitive in a league like this. I mean, obviously something comes from somewhere here.
Yeah, I've just watched NASCAR my whole life. Oh, it's my buddy Larry.
As Larry makes an entry.
Yeah. How about this, Larry? How about this? Um, yeah, I watched NASCAR my whole life growing up, and it's a big deal. Senior fan,
Okay.
and raced on consoles growing up, and had some buddies once the online gaming stuff started in the late 2000s for us. Got on there, and we were racing on consoles. And I guess I've been doing this for about 10 years on iRacing, maybe somewhere around 7 or 8, not real sure.
Well,
But yeah, just don't have a whole lot of time anymore, man. We just get on, try to have fun when we can.
Talk about what you remember being the difference. I always share kind of my stories, being gone here for 12 years now, since 2000 and 2011, 2012, somewhere in that range. I got on here, and of course, it's been a lot of change. What have you noticed on iRacing, the changes?
Well, not a ton. Everything's still very similar on how it drives, except for that next gen. That next gen feels like an underpowered Indy car that weighs about 7,000 pounds. Like, it's just no feel to me. But everything, the mechanics of everything still kind of feels the same. The biggest changes that I've seen is probably in the last 2 years. I feel like graphics have really improved. I would like, since they've refreshed here lately, that right there has been the biggest change.
Yeah.
It's not about just running your one lane every lap and hitting your marks in that one spot every lap. Man, you can go down in there and run it for 20 laps, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And you've got to, like last week, when you've got the lead and you don't know really where to go, but you know your lane's given up, you're kind of hesitant to try anything, because if it don't work, you're passed. But you definitely got to move around.
So
that's been a big change here.
You say that, and we go into Phoenix here tonight, and this is the flattest track this series has seen yet this season, of course, with the 11 degrees of bank over in turn 3 and 4, the 9 degrees over in 1 and 2. Have you tested different grooves to see, or is it down on that yellow line? I mean, I could see 1 and 2 being more of the wider groove, because that's usually where you see cars maybe fan out, but are we going to see single grooving tonight, or are we going to see this track spread out?
Man, I'm sure it's going to spread out. The only thing iRacing I wish they would do is to make rubber lay down more evident on the asphalt tracks, where you can kind of see it a little bit. I think that would be really beneficial. But man, I'm thinking, I guess is it 1 and 2 now? It used to be 3 and 4.
Yeah, the far end over there where you're going right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go test out that apron over there. I think it might be decent. I think it might be decent. Yeah. I mean, if this thing gets rubbered in, I think you might have some folks running down there.
Well, the question is, well, I guess we'll find out here in a second, but how far down are you going to be able to go? Like right now, you're on the yellow line. Are you going down the whole groove there? Or I guess that's going to be the question here.
I'm going to let somebody else try it first. if I get another lap in practice here, I'm going to give it. Well, that was it.
Yeah, ain't happening. All right,
I was about to. Appreciate it.
No sweat. I'm going to cut you off. We want you to go qualify. So good luck, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Mac McMillan. Good fun talk there with him. Let's get him down to his channel as he goes and qualifies for the race here at Phoenix. He was in that channel right there. So interesting to think about there is seeing drivers maybe jump down onto that apron through 3 and 4. You see it in real life, but the question going to be, will we see it here tonight in this race? We'll have to find out here momentarily as qualifying begins. 43 cars, I think, officially here tonight. So let's find a car and let's hit them up. Here's Eric Arnold. In the 811 number 31. As he comes out of turn 4, he should be the first one to cross the line. And as they do, you'll start seeing the names pop up here to top left. There you go, Eric Arnold right now on the pole with a 28.44. Jose Gonzalez going P2. Until Josh Connors and Robert Fryery, those guys cross the line as we speak. 14 viewers watching here so far. Appreciate that. Larry Pace, as you heard Mac mention, joining the race himself as everybody gets their qualifying runs in here. Let's check out Braxton DeWeese and see what he can do here in his 5 car, as he's looked pretty fast throughout the season here. Up there in points as he jumps up. Actually, I'm sorry, he just started his lap. I saw Schweikert jump to second as Tyler Dalton with a 23 to the top. Gonzalez third, Arnold and Gillenwater right now your top 5 as Schweikert goes P4. Of course, their times go green. That means it went faster. Yellow means slower. Miles up to second with a 28. Tommy Ryan at third with a 34. And Mike Kelly with a 27 going up to P2. So great lap by these guys as he's still got about 2.5 minutes left. But a lot of guys putting laps up here on the board. Still Tyler Dalton P1. Let's see who else out there could potentially steal one here as Josh Parker's just out there running laps. Montesi crosses the line. He goes to 24th. Well, Anthony Calantoni's been pretty fast in the Talking Giants 84. Let's see what he can do, as he's going to take that dog leg as short as possible. And let's see what kind of lap he can throw down. Calantoni qualifies 18th. Karlovich 19th. Coleman, Jimmy Coleman, that is 25th right now. So Tyler Dalton looking pretty good. Still got a few cars left to qualify here. E.J. O'Rourke coming out on track right now in this 41. Let's see what he can do here in the Units Toyota. Scott Simley out there, I believe he has already done his laps. Yeah, he's out there logging laps. So is Josh Parker. Joe Hudson doing the same right now. Everybody but 5 cars have run qualifying laps here so far, and it looks like O'Rourke is going to be the last official one to get a lap in his first lap. 29.07, which is more of a throwaway lap. He's 38th. Let's see what this lap can do as he gets a little free down the back straightaway here. Three and 4. See if he can get the apex off the corner here to the dog leg and across the line. He jumps to 26th, 28.58. So Tyler Dalton will continue to add on to his record-breaking pole run as he is the career poles leader at this track, as we will step away from the national anthem, get you ready for 125 laps of racing here from the Phoenix Raceway coming up here on the Captain Esports Network.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home
All right, National Anthem complete as we get you ready for the starting lineup here at the Phoenix Raceway. 125 laps as mentioned here tonight. And let's take a look at the lineup as the cars come to the grid. Tyler Dalton on the pole once again, 28.23 seconds. Outruns the guy who started on pole here last season, that being Mike Kelly there on the outside of row number 1. Stephen Miles, his best career start in the series. He'll start next to Tommy Ryan there in 3rd and 4th. Braxton DeWeese, a 5 in the 5. 5th position for the 5 car for Braxton there. Chad Coleman on his outside. Larry Pace, ever so close to getting that win at Vegas last week. He'll start 7th alongside John Schweikert. Jose Speedy Gonzalez and Mac McMillan, the hottest driver on the circuit so far to get started in the 10th position. Eric Arnold, Wesley Donaldson, they will take row number 6. Row 7, J.P. Phillips and Bob Gillenwater in row 7. Row 8, Brett Scott, Nelson Rivera. Doy Woods, Trevor Hunt in row 9. Row 10, Anthony Calantoni and Jason Carvalage completing the 10 rows. Scott Simley will take row 11 with Matthew Martell. Robert Fryery to 3rd, Josh Connors. Row 13, Jeff Ryan, E.J. O'Rourke with Andrew Teff, Jimmy Coleman in row 14. Row 15, Kevin Stone and Alan Wild. Mike Montesi and Justin Reynolds take row 16. Joe Hudson, Brian Wortman, row 17. Cody Williams and Sean Burke, row 18. Row 19, Josh Parker and Randy Yoakum. I should say Jatina Heron, 19. Parker Yoakum, 20. 21, Sigmund and Livingston. Patrick Langley going to be the last of the 43 starters that will run here this afternoon at the Phoenix Raceway. You see these cars already coming down the back straightaway because the pace car is pulled off. And we're about ready to go racing here as Dalton takes them into turn 3 and 4 as we come to the green flag at the Phoenix Raceway. The same old iRacing default weather, but the track is all types of slick. Round 5 is green. Our cameras are presented by TrackCams22.com. You check them out online on Facebook and the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com as we are 3 wide already through 3 and 4. Braxton DeWeese is stuck in the middle. Gonzalez to his inside, Coleman to his outside. As Mike Kelly will lead lap 1. Now, if you remember during last week's race, Brett Scott going wrecking inside wall. I click on his name. There we go. Brent Scott, he is towed. And we stay green. That apron is treacherous, by the way, where the dog leg is. I was just starting to throw out there that we average about 7 to 8 cautions or so in this race. There was 8 last season, 7 in the season before that Josh Parker had won in 2022. Of course, Pedro Mojica getting one of his plenty of wins last season. But Kelly, the pole sitter from last season, leading here with Tommy Ryan in the battle for 3rd as Tyler Dalton and Stephen Miles. Chad Coleman there to their inside. Curious to see what this track does. Does it spread out? Do we get some good side-by-side racing? Is it going to go single file eventually as the heat gets hotter and these tires wear out? I'm curious to see as Miles would cross over on Dalton. I started to talk a little bit also about the track layout. Remember, during the broadcast last week, I made a mention about it being a legacy Phoenix track. That ended up being a mistake, actually, and we are at the new Phoenix track, so you'll notice there's no grass or the old layout or anything like that. So here we are at Phoenix Raceway, the new traditional one that you see now on the schedule. All right, so what happened to Brent Scott? Did we have an issue with the apron potentially? That is one thing. The dogleg can be very treacherous, and you see the 33 already has gone around at that moment. Let's see if I could find you an earlier view of this. Ah, now the paint scheme makes totally sense. So Realtor Barbie, Tiffany Scott. So it's a real estate car. As he goes down here to the apron, okay here, but you look how just the car just comes around into the inside wall, and he gets it off the track before the caution comes out there. So that's what happened to the Realtor Tiffany Scott number 33 car. Back here at 15th position, Nelson Rivera, Anthony Calantoni, Eric Arnold. Calamity Corner, you can almost argue, is about right there off of turn 4. As you see Ferrari get the outside wall just a little bit, you'll get a lot of cars that get tight loose over there off of turn 4, and it'll snap around on you and bring the caution out. You do not want to see that happen, because it could cause a pretty big wreck if you especially ping pong your way back up on the track. 20 viewers, and I appreciate all of you so far checking in this evening, from Chris DeWeese to Matthew Martell over on the Facebook page of either Sim500s or the Captain Esports Network. Appreciate all you guys for joining us here on chat. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you're not new, we appreciate you returning. Let us know who you're cheering on or where you're from, and if you want to talk about the clash last night, what your thoughts were of it. And we could talk about this race too. Whatever you want to talk about, I'm here. Scott Simley in the 12, the teammate to Mike Kelly. Battle for the 21st position, the 56 of Connors, the 20 of JP Phillips. There's already 10 laps down in the race. You see Patrick Langley has taken his car, or at least started 3 laps down. Ryan Wortman 1 lap down already. I think he started the race on pit road. John Prather watching take the wings off. You might need to clarify that, John. The wings. A little confuzzled by that one. As for Atomic Burrito, Mr. Jason there, who says that this actually was supposed to be Legacy Phoenix, as we talked about in the broadcast just a few minutes ago, but there was a setup issue, so elected to stay on the new Phoenix, which is always a safe move to make, unless you got a custom setup made or whatever. I mean, iRacing doesn't make setups really for the Legacy tracks anymore, unless it's like the Legacy Daytona or something, which is the bumpy one, and so on and so forth. So all right, 12 laps complete. Mike Kelly has led them all. Tommy Ryan now up to second. Dalton has settled in. It looks like the 3rd position with Stephen Miles and Chad Coleman. The battle between McMillan and DeWeese, 2 of the, I want to call them newcomers, but McMillan's been around a little bit, and DeWeese obviously is a newcomer, so we can give him that call. But Braxton doing a good job there in the 5 car. Jose Gonzalez behind him there in the 26. Wesley Donaldson, the 91 car. Ooh. Braxton getting to the back of McMillan a little bit there. I think that was a little love tap from last week saying, hey, good win, by the way. Looking forward to being back tomorrow night with Kevin England and getting ready for the 811 Cup Series. Back at the track at Daytona tomorrow night, I believe. I know there's still some updates going on to that for the shootout or whatever. And, of course, qualifying next week for the 500K. Trying to get Kevin on the podcast with me tomorrow night so we can talk with Miles and Telder about Sim500 this season and what we can expect. But it's always good to have that second voice up here with me for the Cup Series, and he's a good one to have because he knows this series a lot more than I do, and I've only been around 2 or 3 seasons as that 28 car of Doy Woods This is a favorite track of his. Good to see him back on the track. The Alabama driver, they're pushing Eric Arnold through 1 and 2, or make that 3 and 4. The old 1 and 2 there. As you see the cars starting to kind of spread out like I thought might happen. You're not going to see it probably so much in this corner, but over in 3 and 4, sorry, 1 and 2, the old 3 and 4, you're going to see cars, I think, spread out from the bottom to the top. Miles all over the back end of Dalton, just not able to clear. It's very tough to pass as this track gets slicker unless you can get a run into the corner, just like McMillan there. He sent it in there on somebody. That would be Schweikert back there. You hear Dalton downshift it to third. Help him get the drive off. Just got to be careful not to burn your tires off doing that. Chad Coleman, John Schweikert, and McMillan. That's 3rd through 7th right here in this line. Jose Gonzalez is about a half second back than Wesley Donaldson. And then the guy that came ever so close to getting that win last week in that 50 car, Larry Page. He wanted that one pretty badly, but was totally okay with it, knowing that it was a clean finish to the end there. And I'm sure he replayed it a few times in the back of his head, like, how can I make this move? It is one that I'm sure will be talked about throughout the season. Matter of fact, let's take it back to it real quick. Tony's going to turn himself off the 5. And Larry Pace gets sideways. McMillan, or was it Pace? It's close. McMillan with the win. And so close, but yet so far for Larry Pace, trying to get that win, but he's doing a good job so far here in the 10th position after last week's race in Vegas. Is 23 laps complete. Mike Kelly's led them all 1.5 seconds over Tommy Ryan. Tyler Dalton sits in 3rd. Stephen Miles and Chad Coleman, your top 5, is Robert Friery, the 3rd with an unscheduled pit stop into 77. So not sure what's going on with that Rusty Wallace throwback, but he is on pit road here early. As a matter of fact, he's jumped to his pit stall, so it looks like his night going to be done early. All right, back here at the 12th and 13th positions is Jason Carlavage and Bob Gillenwater battled out. Calantoni and Martell also here behind those guys. But let's jump further back because here's an even better battle for positions. As it mirrors, Josh Connors look like a toddler. Just kidding, obviously. As Connors battles with the 20 of J.P. Phillips and Jimmy Coleman in that battle also. And not leave out Kevin Stone in at 17. 4 cars under a blanket in the battle for 20th. As this race gets its green flag run, you got to be very careful of this because that's when the leader will start to catch you and put you a lap down, especially as we work our way towards pit stops. And, of course, that could be a whole nother question of things. When do you come to pit road? As you can make it to halfway with ease with this only being a 125-lap race on fuel. As Schweikert falling back as he just lost 6th, 7th, 8th. And looks like it's been a fight with the outside wall, and he's off the pace here, the 1. And he's going to bring it to pit road. So unscheduled pit stop for the 1 car. And a tough break there as Miles and Dalton continue to battle it up here for 3rd. Ooh, Miles might have got to the right rear. He sure did. Here he comes. And looks like Miles cleared him. He sure did. Right back there. Miles passed him. I thought they were going to be side by side through the corner. That's why I swapped to that camera. So Miles up to 3rd now. And you see Chad Coleman trying to put the pressure on the 19 car. All right, 30 laps complete. Let's step away and hear a word from 811 as you are watching the Xfinity Series here on the Captain Esports Network.
What a nice day to install my new mailbox.
Hi there, friend. I'm Dig Safely Man. My job is to ensure you call 811 before you dig.
Why do I need to do that?
Vital utilities like natural gas and electric run just beneath the Earth's surface. Damaging them can cause service interruption, environmental hazards, or personal injury.
I thought only contractors had to call before they dig, so homeowners do too.
Call 3 business days before you dig unless you have X-ray vision. Visit nc811.org to learn more.
All right, back we are at the Phoenix Raceway, 30 laps complete. It has been the Mike Kelly show up front, 1.2 seconds over Tommy Ryan, who leads Stephen Miles in 3rd. Chad Coleman, who's now moved to 4th. Mac McMillan and Braxton DeWeese, 4th, 5th, 6th. Tyler Dalton, all of a sudden on the free fall here. You got to wonder if he burned up his tires a little bit there in that South Carolina 811 car. Of course, big shout out to Safe Digging Sports on Facebook, which is the 811 channel for the Southeast, basically South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia. Yeah, hello to Ann if you are watching, and crew. Of course, they sponsor a couple of the Sim500 series and a couple other leagues out there. And they got their own little Facebook page for you to check out, so give them a follow. Look up Safe Digging Sports, and you will find that channel from 811, so appreciate what they do. All right, 32 laps complete here, and everybody's starting to migrate up. Kind of a diamond almost in 3 and 4, or 1 and 2, I should say. I'm going to start paying money to somebody if I keep in the corner calm. Let's look at McMillan here as he starts to put the pressure on Chad Coleman here on the top side. McMillan able to send it in there pretty deep, slides it up almost into the outside wall. And he kind of going to drive it back off the corner and almost shallow it up on exit. He's going to clear the 38 for 3rd to make that 4th. So Mac looking pretty sporty here in that Kyle Larson 88 paint scheme, I should say. The 88 car. Kyle Larson paint. Leaders starting to get into lap traffic here a little bit as Mike Kelly's going to catch up with Brian Wortman there in that green 74 car. You see he's already put a lap, multiple laps, I should say, on Patrick Langley. Friery and Brent Scott so far, and John Schweikert now officially off the track. And let's go back to 25th position because a battle is on back here. This is the 2022 winner at Phoenix, Josh Parker, who is fighting the 6 of Mike Montesi, the 53 of Cody Williams, and also the 01. I'm sorry, the 00 of John Reynolds. Or Justin Reynolds. Having all kinds of issues tonight, guys. My bad. But Josh, who likes to start in the back regularly, usually has a couple cautions by now to work with. We had 8 last season, 7 the season before. We ain't seen one yet. We've tried to have one there at the beginning, but not yet, as we're 35 laps in. So Parker's going to need a break here if he's going to have a chance to get up here and compete. As you see just how tough it is to pass, 1 at Phoenix, but 2 in this series when you have a fixed setup and everybody pretty much on equal footing in this car. Williams going to get by Montesi now, and that's 6, so unfortunately he's fallen back a little bit. There's Parker, and then, as I mentioned, Williams there in that 00, the Trace 3, I think that says on his car. And behind them, the Joe Hudson 43. Here come a couple of aggressive racers right here. Eric Arnold, Goy Woods, and then Nelson Rivera kind of in the middle. He has his time, so he knows how to be aggressive, knows when to do it. Of course, when you work for Penske and you got a Joey Logano number and stuff on there, you might know some aggressiveness. He and Lil Gibbs last night. Take, what, almost 3 months off from racing, and those drivers still have the attitudes from last season. They're ready to fight. So you see lap times have fallen off about 2 seconds from the start of this race. So tire wear obviously playing a crucial role in this race. Matthew Martell here, the 51. You know, some say this B car, or the Xfinity car is what it's known as in real life. We just know it as B car in iRacing. Is one of the toughest cars oval-wise to drive because of the lack of downforce it has. And oh, there's a wall there. And just how, oh, now he's really in the wall. Martell having all types of issues. But just the way, oh, in trouble. Turn 1, that is Carvalage, who has gone around the 60 car, brings out the caution for the first time. Everybody trying to check up. I saw him get clipped by somebody. But that is going to be a lucky break for a lot of cars. Carvalage bringing out the first caution here at lap number 41. As the leader is going to come to pit road. I would say either he must have it where he has to start his own car, which might have taken there a second. As the leader's coming to pit road, we'll look at the replay here in a second. As Mike Kelly brings him in. Get these guys out of the picture here, and you'll see where everybody comes off of pit road. Should be 4 tires and fuel. Race off pit road. What a launch by Tommy Ryan. I think he got him. Tommy Ryan with some rocket boosters. Holy moly. Tommy Ryan, Mike Kelly, Mac McMillan, DeWeese, and Tyler Dalton. And what happened to Stephen Miles as he was up in 3rd? Comes out 9th all of a sudden, so a terrible stop for him. Matter of fact, 18 seconds for the 24, so not a good situation there. Let's take a look at the replay and roll that beautiful bean footage. Give me a second. Let me get back to that lap. Everybody comes to pit road, it like messes everything up for me. Here we go. Derek Myers, man, good to see you there on Facebook, checking in with us. And Fort and more, so appreciate what you're doing. As Carvalage, did he just get loose and he hits the barrels, and then net codes off the 51 and then sits there on the track. I appreciate what you're doing, Derek, for us. Hopefully you get back here soon, buddy. Be safe. Get a better view of this to the bar chase. Oh, Wesley. Just a slight nerf. Ooh, net codes the inside barrels. Net codes that car. Net code everywhere. Did I just spot? Hang on one second. Let me back this up for a second. Oh, okay. Gerald got the wall. It's like, did I just see netcode again? Jason, who is Wesley's spotter on Mondays, checks in saying, I will yell at Wes tomorrow about that accident. So I'm pretty sure he's already been yelled at by somebody. All right, back to green is Mike Kelly and Tommy Ryan there in the front row. Tommy with a rocket fast launch off of pit road. He was 0.3 slower in the pit time, but a second, 1.6 seconds quicker in his delta. I wonder where the difference was there. As we come back to the green. Ooh, little issue back there towards Wesley. Or that's Coleman, I'm sorry. As everybody fans out. Oh, caution back out. Back here, the 3 and the 15 also involved. And Andrew Teff, the other car. Oh, boy. A Mountain Dew, a Monster Energy drink. That is not... Oof. That's a lot of sugar. That's all I'm going to say to that. Caution out for the second time. Cautions breed cautions. Going to happen up ahead, it looks like. Oh, a couple other cars got tangled up to 00 and 43. And T-bone steak for you. So the incident actually starts up at Joe Hudson and a 00 here. And easy to do. Did somebody miss time? Oh no, the 00 gets loose, and then Hudson just kind of clips the left rear. They get tangled up. There goes the 98 around, and then the 8 gets to 15. And caution out. For the second time here. Tommy Ryan.
Yes, sir.
Did you get those rocket launchers at Northern Tool?
I'm not telling.
Hey, that was pretty impressive of a launch coming out of pit road.
Yeah, I was surprised myself, and I saw Mike, spinning them up, and I was like, man, I might get him. But yeah, it's funny how that works. Sometimes your pit crew just really comes to life for you, and sometimes they just kiki where the sun don't shine.
Which is crazy, because I look over here at your pit times, and Mike actually had a 0.2 of a second faster stop, but you got him by like a 1.5 seconds delta wise on pit road.
Yeah, I don't know. It's that what I call the iRacing fairy dust, man. That's all I can tell you.
All right, man. Well, hey, looking good here so far. Of course, you got Mac there behind you, and what has been a good start to the season here for you.
Yeah, I think I actually had a couple rough races before Vegas. Got caught up in some stuff, I think, at Daytona and California, I think. California was my own doing. But anyway, the Northern Tool Camaro is, we are digging forward with the 811.
Attaboy.
So hopefully I'll talk to you again at the end of this thing.
I like the way that sounds. Just actually double checking. I'm fact checking myself because I'm not perfect over here. But I believe you. I think you're up towards Tommy, you're right. Yeah, you're somewhere in there. We'll get it right. I'll go check on myself there. But hey, keep up the good work and keep up the good run so I look smart.
Right on, man.
All right, buddy.
Digging.
You too. Tommy Ryan right now is the leader of this race and has me double checking my work. Tommy entered tonight's race. All right, yeah, he has had some rough races. 25th in points. Yikes. Where did I get my stats from? That guy's fired. That was his... Well, all right, yep. I'm just going to walk away from that one, as they say. All right, going back to the green. He had 3 top 30 finishes going in the last week. Yeah. Sometimes you go off your brain and what you think you remember seeing. It turns out it's not that guy. It happens sometimes. All right. So go back green, lap 50. There's no excuse. Just straight up. I blew that one. Mike Kelly inside with McMillan. See if these guys can get back on their toes here after, whoa, EJ and Eric Arnold. A little contact with each other, but everybody okay? This caution ended up being a break for somebody like a Josh Parker, who was losing track position with all the green flag running. Now he's been able to steal some spots with pit road and so on and so forth. As the battle on for second, battle everywhere pretty much right now. As look at Braxton DeWeese to the outside now of Mike Kelly. As McMillan clears him, and now DeWeese going to try to clear him for third. That fan club ought to be pretty happy right now, but I've only seen like 2 members of them. Tell the clean air is definitely the way to go, as McMillan just ran the fastest lap of the race up there, P2. Larry Page starting to truck his way up into the top 10. Goy Woods up there with him. Chris DeWeese saying that he thinks everyone's in bed or doing something tonight. Hey, that's fine. I'm appreciative of whoever shows up to watch. That just tells me at least I'm not boring. Because it's pretty hard sometimes to think, hey, I am boring. But that's just me and myself, perfectionist and, you know, type of thing. But I'm working my way out of that. Everything's good. Life is awesome. Just a reminder, Scalicast back tomorrow. And ready to record another episode tomorrow. We'll have it released on Wednesday. We'll actually talk about the Clash from last night, which I actually thought was a good race, believe it or not. I was definitely a fan of the new sound of the cars. And what I mean by the new sound of the cars is I didn't have to hear any shifting anymore. Much. That made me smile again because I felt kind of nostalgic hearing those cars again. I had some good things. I was thinking about the switch to moving the race from last night or tonight to last night. I had some good things to say about it, and there's a couple of bad things I have to say about it, but I'm going to share that for the podcast. You have to listen over there for hear my thoughts on it. We'll probably talk about the big game this weekend. We'll talk about our road racing. I'll tell you about my Oulton Park experience today. For those who don't know, it's a road course over in Britain. And if you're not a road racer and you don't have many laps on that track, you're going to struggle like I did today. Coming up on halfway very shortly. You can't help but wonder here, we all pitted at 42. At a 125, that's 83 laps. Is fuel mileage a question right now? Tommy Ryan holding off McMillan right now for the lead. It's only 2/10. They're separating first and second. Another 2/10 back to third. Another 10th back to fourth. So everybody in the top five within about 3/4 of a second of each other. Matter of fact, the whole entire top 12 is less than a second apart from each other. And then you get back to E.J. O'Rourke, who's in 13th right now. He is almost a full second back from Stephen Miles. Look how close those cars are to each other up front. Everybody's had a chance to kind of adjust themselves, get the track position they can get. Chris says that rather see the Busch Clash back at Daytona like back in the day. I am with you on that, Chris. However, I did see a tweet today from Justin Marks, of course, the co-owner of the Cars Tour and also with Trackhouse. And he made an interesting point that I would not be opposed to trying. He said, why don't we use this race to go to some of the older or even short tracks around the country? As E.J. O'Rourke, I don't know if he got hit there or got loose going into the corner. That almost went bad. But, for instance, his examples were like go to Nashville, go to New Smyrna maybe, go to, what were some other tracks he mentioned in the post? You know, some of those tracks that maybe don't get the recognition it deserves as a short track or a local track, and let them run the Clash there at those kind of tracks. I guess you could throw Bowman Gray in there. You could throw Southern. You could throw, oh my gosh, there's so many tracks out there. I'm just kind of Five Flags, stuff like that. So, but I personally think, yes, the Clash should go back to Daytona. And they should run it just like they used to. The old 25, I would go 25 laps. 25 lap, all the pole sitters, and maybe a couple wild cards go in there and they race and they go as hard as they can. All right, so halfway in the books, Tommy Ryan leading. So I said earlier that he's had a great start to his season so far, and I mentioned he's 25th in points. So this is the this is where sometimes I just have to remind myself to fact check before I say anything. Daytona 30th, Homestead 34th, Auto Club 31st, and then Vegas 3rd. A little bit of a rough start, I'd say, for Tommy, but obviously straightened it back out last week. And all he's got to do is get back to 16th in points, and he'll have a chance to get in there to the playoffs. And he's obviously a good enough talent to do so. As I'm noticing a cloud coming over the track, let's peek at the weather real quickly here and see what we're looking at. 121 degree track temp. Partly cloudy skies. And the traditional iRacing default weather, which is May 15th. 79 degrees. So anytime you hear the word iRacing default weather, 79, 43, 2-mile-an-hour winds, the way it always is. That track temp's the biggest variable over there in the top right side of the screen. So the Braxton DeWeese fans are the equivalent of LA Dodger fans. Don't show up until the 5th inning. Robert Allen asking how to find your league on iRacing. This is Sim500. Your best bet is to go to sim500.com, and you could go there and get all the information. for this league and for the Cup Series and stuff. I'm sure there's room for you. I can't speak for that accurately because I'm not the owner of the league. But go to Sim500.com and you can check out the Sunday League. The Monday League kicks off tomorrow, so you might be able to get in that depending on what you want to drive. There's racing every night of the week. So you can go over there and get all the information you need there, Mr. Allen. Thanks for watching. Tommy Ryan a little bit under attack as here comes Mac. Going to lose his momentum there a little bit in turn one. He kind of missed the corner on entry there, and you saw him fall back into Braxton Deweese's hand, but able to drive it back off the corner to save himself. And you see already, who was that? Mike Kelly just put 2 wheels down underneath that black line. So are we starting to see the lane kind of migrate down? Ride with Josh Parker here in the 18th position. Started all the way in 39th position in the 81 car. The usual setup that you're seeing for these cars, a little loose on entry, tight center, loose off, which is almost Phoenix in a nutshell. Watch Parker on entry here. You're going to see him kind of fight the wheel. And then be able to turn that wheel to the left through the middle and then coming off the center on throttle. Back to the right, back to the right, back to the right. Fighting that thing. So still 37 cars on the lead lap and a battle for the lead is McMillan. Drops it down and a slide job for Tommy. Mac McMillan to the front as he continues to find his way to the front of these races. And you know what? I got to argue with his answer to me, by the way, earlier in the broadcast. I asked him, how, he tells me he doesn't get to practice much with his family and stuff and work. And I'm like, well, how do you get on here and be so competitive? Because I get out here and get no practice, I'm going to finish 40th. Well, then again, if I could practice for 100 laps, I'll still finish 40th sometimes. I'd like to know some secrets here. Must be talent. So McMillan to the front. Ryan back to second. DeWeese now third as he tries to attack Tommy. All right, 75 laps complete. Let's step away and hear from 811 as you're watching the Xfinity Series here on the Captain Esports Network.
When do you plan on putting in that new fence we've been talking about since last summer?
I guess I could start tomorrow.
Protect the ones you love and protect your buried utilities by contacting 811 before you dig, either by phone, the web, or the NC811 app. Know what's below before you dig. Visit nc811.org to learn more.
All right, back we are here at Phoenix Raceway. 76 laps in the books, less than 50 to go already. And what has been a pretty fun race to watch here so far. 2 cautions and a couple of lead changes here so far, as you see McMillan still trying to get away from Tommy Ryan. You see DeWeese there in third as they put a lap on the 00. But still plenty of time for things to happen. A lot of strategy potentially coming into play here. The $1 million question I can't help but think of right now is, can they make it on fuel? And there, you know what? There has always been somebody to volunteer to talk to me. And let's go on board with this Number 2 car, Mike Kelly, and there's not many broadcasters that do stupid things like this. I say stupid because he gets into a wreck. It's on me in the end. But let's drag Mike Kelly up here to the booth and let's talk to him. Maybe I can find him here, the Turn 1 hero driver in the 2 car. As Mike runs in the 4th position. Mike, you got a copy?
What's up there, Chris?
Not much, buddy. Looking pretty good there. The question I'm wondering is, how's that feel?
It's a little loose, off, typical Phoenix. Nice being out in clean air.
Yeah.
Had a good run that first run. Then, of course, my pit crew let me down, and restarts didn't go my way. So now I'm back here in 4th, just kind of riding it out, seeing what happens. Definitely don't have anything for Mac and Tommy at this point in time.
The thing I'm wondering, though, is gas mileage going to come into play here?
I'm about 2 laps to the good.
Ooh, okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Have you had a chance to run your car in the long run during practice to see how it feels?
No, not really, but I think what we got here where we're at now is about what you're going to have for the rest of the run. So a little tight through the middle, kind of loose off, and clean air's king.
All right, buddy. Well, hey, you got 4th place right now, so keep it on there, guy.
Yep, good night so far. Hopefully we'll take it home.
All right, buddy.
Get a podium.
Yes, sir. Thanks for your time, man.
Yep, thanks.
Yes, sir. Mike Kelly running up in the 4th position, the Turn 1 Heroes driver there. Appreciate him for letting us talk. He says he's 2 laps to the good. I believe him, but you got to wonder if somebody out there is maybe short somewhere. All right, let's run you through the field here, and let's show you where everybody's running. As Mac McMillan leads this race, he has all of that much, 0.4 of a second over Tommy Ryan, who runs in the 2nd position. Is Braxton going to dive it off to the bottom here? And you just see that back end just not gripping. As they'll continue to battle here, we'll keep an eye on it. But Braxton right now, 3rd position, started 5th. Doing a pretty good job running times right there with the leaders, along with Tommy also. Mike Kelly there, 4th position. We just heard from him. Said he doesn't think he has anything for the top guys here. But he thinks clean air is king, so he's going to try to get that there in the 4th position. The Iron Man, Chad Coleman, as he runs in the 5th position. Chad, of course, one of the original guys here at Sim500, has made over 1,000 league starts total. And he is there in the 5th position. Jose Speedy Gonzalez having a great run tonight. 6th position, started 9th as he tries to get underneath Coleman. 4th, 5th is, did Miles and EJ come together back there? I saw the 41 get the wall. Larry Page, 7th position, started 7th, running 7th. Another night at the office. Doy Woods at Haverland 28 car. Had a kind of off-record conversation with him a couple months back, and his stories about Davey Allison. Obviously was a fan of the guy, and actually got to know him a little bit personally, as he's a driver from the Alabama area, so cool to see that Haviland car on track. Bob Gillenwater, the 4 car, just continues to be consistent. If he could put these races together, seems like a lot of times he'll be in a race and running well, and all of a sudden something happens, either a wreck or something stupid, and he ends up out of it or with a bad finish. Anthony Calantoni and Tyler Dalton back here side by side for 10th. Of course, Dalton was up front earlier, and Calantoni's going to clear him. Anthony in that, what I continue to call a retro 84 look. He just gives me that like early 90s Giants feel with that paint scheme. As Dalton falls back, EJ O'Rourke, 11th position for him. EJ started all the way back in 26th. So a good run there for the 41 car. Stephen Miles there behind him, the 24. He started all the way up into 3rd position and running back here in 12th. As he has said multiple times, and he says it as he co-hosts the podcast with me, that, you know, he just wants to get out here and get the feel of these guys. It's a rookie season for him, and basically every track is something new for him with this crowd of people. He's used to, you know, get out there and running in the front, and now you got a series of people that are all even with you, and Teaches you a whole new style of driving. That's not to disrespect anybody he races with, so that kind of thing. But you get a series like this, a series on Friday night he runs with, and even some guys on Tuesday and Thursday nights and Wednesday night. He runs in every league we broadcast, so put it like that. There's nights he gets humbled, and everybody has that situation happen to him. Tyler Dalton, I mentioned him, 13th position for the pole sitter. He's probably pretty mad right now. He missed last week's race due to some computer issues. I think he had actually said he would had to have missed this race if something would have if he'd have raced last week, as he had something going on. But of course, with the situation last week, he had to race tonight. So here he is in the 19 car, running 13th for him. Matthew Martell. Every time I say the name Martell, I can't help but think of the wrestler from the 80s and 90s, Rick Martell. Maybe there's some relation there. Who knows? They do spell their last names different. 14th position, which, by the way, I don't even think Rick Martell is his actual name. So as I think about that more and more. 15th, Wesley Donaldson, the 91 car. Wesley, unfortunately, that incident earlier with the 60. Just having a solid run here, just hanging strong. As Joe Hudson makes a pit stop, by the way. There's Scott Simley, the 12 car. Scott, one of the longest knowing drivers that I've actually had the chance to know on iRacing. Known him pretty much since the time I've been on here, and that's been 12 years. So it's cool to be able to call races for Scott and even call him to a win last year in the Cup Series at Richmond. Scott and I used to have long nights of racing back in the heyday. Josh Parker, 22nd, or I should say 17th position, up 22 spots. Going to need a little bit more help as he continues to try to gain some track position here. 17th for him in this race. Jimmy Coleman up to the 18th position, that Trans Service 54 car. Maybe able to see him race tonight. It's a cool thing. Mike Montesi in the 6 car, running in the 19th position. Another Trans Service car as we got more cars pitting. Andrew Teff, Sean Burke. So I wonder if these guys know they were short on fuel that are coming to pit road now. I'll have to keep an eye on any leaders to do this. Eric Arnold in the 20th position. All these cars still in the lead lap, by the way, as we roll through them. And then a good little fight back here. 21st, Kevin Stone. Cody Williams, Josh Connors. All these guys about 12 seconds back from the leader. There's JP Phillips, the Spider car. Andy Yoakum in the 8 car. By the way, representing the high school team again on his car tonight, 25th. Was involved in a couple of RG-bargies a little bit ago, but doing okay. Trevor Hunt there in 26, the 56 car with the eyeless Mike Wazowski photo. In the 59, there's Gerald Livingston, the 96 car. The boss man, Joey Jatina. He's going to want to get out of this track real quick. Running 28th right now. Joey, the owner of the series, also has run a couple of races in ARCA in real life at Talladega. And Sam Harrell back here in the Bug Spray Mustard car. Hanging out in the 29th position. Nelson Rivera having a terrible run. 30th position for the 22 car. He might need to get some lessons from Logano and Paul Wolf. Like, man, what the heck did I do wrong? I can't get around this place. Nelson on the struggle bus right now in 30th. 31st, Brian Wertman on the lead lap. Another driver that I have known for a very, very, very long time. Brian, a student of the game. This man went to college for racing, worked at NASCAR, did some crew chiefing at a couple races, and even some spotting, and did a whole bunch of stuff in NASCAR in the Xfinity Series, and one that knows his knowledge of racing and has been sim racing for longer than a lot of people have been alive. Doug Sigmund, 32nd position for him in the Pro Systems number 04. Joe Hudson, 33rd right now. He is still on the lead lap. I'm sorry, these guys are actually a lap down now, so let me correct myself. These guys have been on pit road, I believe. to get tires and fuel. But Sean Burke in E01 is 34th. Andrew Teft is being lapped right now by the leaders in 35th. There's the Allen Wild car in 36. As you see, the 2 has caught the 5 while we've been going through the field here. Patrick Langley, the only other car on the track, in 37th right now in the 40 car there. So there you go. Through the field, the whole entire field. Where are we sitting? Here is your lead battle right now, as Tommy has not let Matt get away, as we have 26 laps to go in race number 5 of the Sim500 NC811 Xfinity Series here from the Phoenix Raceway. We got to get one more break in real quick before we get to the finish of this race. Let's do it right now and get back to you for the finish of this race here from Phoenix on the Captain Esports Network.
This tree is going to look great here.
Did you call 811 to protect your underground utilities?
I can't wait to see these roses come up.
Dig, dig, dig! Wait, we forgot to call 811.
Before you dig, make sure you can. Call 811 to know what's below. It's up to all of us to protect the ones we love.
Back with you, 25 laps to go as you see Mike Kelly putting the pressure on Braxton DeWeese for third. Mike said he didn't have anything for the leaders, but he didn't say Braxton's name, so that tells me something. But Braxton with a good run off the top side there. Only 2 cautions in this race. And the $1 million question is fuel good to the finish. Mike said as we talked to him under the green flag there, that he was good to go. You see the one thing that Mac talked about, and it's something I do agree with, is the texture of the rubber. I think there should be a way where you can kind of make it a little more distinct. Not that it's not. I mean, you can see right here from the bottom all the way up to about the second groove there. You can see where rubber's laid down, but it's not as distinct as you might hope to see in a car. You want to be able to see up to where the line ends almost of the rubber on the track, but at least you get a little bit of something here. So we jump back here to 22nd. As Josh Connor's in the outside wall there fighting with the 8 car of Yoakum, also the 17 of Kevin Stone. These guys back here are going at it. By the way, for those enjoying watching this on Sunday nights next week, obviously we're not here. Taking the big game off, obviously. And then we'll be back in 2 weeks for race number 6 of the series. What has been a very fantastic start, by the way. And that race will be from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. So get ready for the second race on a quote-unquote super speedway, if you will. Except the weather probably will still be the same. So we're going to see more of a hybrid type of super speedway race where you'll probably see the pack spread out a little bit. And I know one thing's for sure, the last couple seasons in this series, the Cup Series, when the track has been very hot in Atlanta, after about 10 laps, it becomes a crapshoot of when that car wants to spin out. So I think be ready for a wild one here in 2 weeks from Atlanta Motor Speedway. But still got to get through this Phoenix race. Mac McMillan leading. Only got 2/10 over Tommy Ryan. They are literally matching lap times. As a matter of fact, the top 5 cars all have ran between a 22 and a 31. So that's less than 1/10 of a second amongst the top 5. Shows you how close they are. They're trying to go 3 wide here as they go around the lap car of Doug Sigmund. That's Coleman and Gonzalez and Pace. Jose was leaning up on that 38. You see Samuel Harold there behind him. That's fresh tires behind him. So let's see what Harold is. He going to try to bonsai top side here? They got to be careful. Great job by the leaders there to kind of yield to Harold, who made that move to the top side. Larry Pace looking for somewhere to go right here. So these three battling it out. You got back here Calantoni and O'Rourke fighting it out for position. Ooh, Calantonio was leaning on the 41. Got to be careful. Of course, Calantoni last week with that last lap slider on Braxton DeWeese that kind of went wrong last week, and he admitted to me, he's like, yeah, it was not smart on my part. Now Miles going to drive it in there. Well, I can only imagine how tired these guys are going to be. I mean, you're coming up on 70 laps of a green flag run on this slick of a track right now. And 14 to go. Back to fourth, and third is Kelly. Just cannot get the run off the corner. I almost wonder if you have to do the hold, get to the inside of a guy and maybe slide up with the guy in the middle of the corner and then diamond the corner off. Like you see how they're both moving up right here. If Mike can get to the inside of Braxton, enter in the corner, and slide up with Braxton, he might be able to control the corner coming off and maybe get the run off the corner. Easier said than done. I'm just Monday morning quarterbacking from right here. Twelve laps to go. We got the battle for fifth and sixth here as Coleman's got Larry Pace now behind him. Harry Pace able to get by. We're trying to get by the 26 there as they go by Jeff Ryan. I mean, everybody's just even out here is what you're seeing. I mean, you're not really seeing that car that's faster than the others right now. I mean, it's just everybody's kind of stuck where they are. And that's a product of fixed setups and a good group of racers is what that comes down to. When you're seeing cars that just aren't able to pass each other because they're out here just trying to slip and slide and get the handling to be as best as possible no matter how much you save these tires. I saw Alan Wild having an issue there. Wanted to check on him back there. So again, tomorrow night, we remind you to come join us as the 811 Cup Series gets its preseason underway with the Clash, which I believe is going to be at Daytona. I know it was originally announced they were going to do it in North Wilkesboro, but then they did a test race last week and decided to put it at Daytona. So tomorrow night we'll be at Daytona for the Cup Series Clash, unless something changes. Obviously, there are going to be some details and stuff. That'll be tomorrow night, so come join us. And you want to see a fun series, watch this Cup Series. A lot of these guys are in it, and you'll see some different names come up there, and this is the league that pretty much runs the show when it comes to Sim 500, new Rookie of the Year title this year, and so much more. So looking forward to joining Kevin England back in the booth tomorrow night. Speed weeks get started for Sim 500. And you might ask, why are they 5 weeks behind these guys? Well, the difference is all their races are on Monday nights. This race is on Sunday, and they don't want to get in the way of the NFL season. So best way to do that is get this series done in August, is start early. And then Monday night's the only thing you worry about is Monday Night Football, which, pick your battles, right? Jimmy Coleman back here with Martell and Wesley Donaldson battling it out for 15th. You see the 81 Josh Parker's only been able to work his way to 18th. After starting in the back, he had a couple cautions to get some track position, but otherwise has been stuck there. Yeah, Hornet's Nest back here. Oh, big trouble. The 20 gets turned hard into the wall. There's Joey Jatina going around. Oh, hello. Change the race around. Caution is out, boys. Holy moly, that spider ate that wall hard. I went back to check on what was going on, and the 20 was pile driving. Oh, let's just put the race on its head. Leaders to pit road. Ooh. Who tries 2 tires potentially here? Man, does anybody dare? Larry Page stays out. Oh. I'm sorry, Larry did. Yeah, Larry did stay out. And Mike Kelly overshot his pit stall. That's not going to help. Man, if I'm somebody back in the 20s or 15s, why not? McMillan wins the race off pit road. I think O'Rourke tried 2. I think Josh Parker tried 2. Oh, boy. How things have turned wild here. Let's go back and see what took place here. Oh! And Gerald Livingston gets a piece, but that just weird. I saw the 8 hit off a car to his outside. Let's stop button here real quick and find Yoakum real quick. Randy. AC 20 drops down. Oh wow! They just misjudged the 04 car. And the 17 made contact, the 8 made contact, and Sigmund was there. And the 20 car paid a big price for that. And the other car that paid a big price was back here, Jatina in the 01 here. Joey's already having kind of a rough race. You see Sigmund way up there. Joey keeps up here on the track, his right. Oh, and then he just gets turned with a little net code there, too. But they would have probably hit anyways. Joey into the wall. So we actually had technically 2 different wrecks. All right, well. We have Larry Pace leading this race. We have the 88 that drives like my FedEx truck does, it looks like right now. Tommy Ryan 3rd. Braxton Deweese 4th. E.J. O'Rourke 5th. One rule of thumb here. And Larry's pretty good at this stuff, so I'm not going to say he's going to do it. But if he spins the tires, the car normally goes right. It's a thing on iRacing. I don't know why. But Larry's got to go once he gets into the restart zone, which is mid-corner here. And from there, can he hold on for 2 laps? It's him and McMillan again. Slight tire disadvantage, though, for Larry. Green flag. Tommy all the way down to Tucson to make the pass. Here comes O'Rourke. Larry's only here for one thing, to win the race, so I totally understand the move from that standpoint. As Gillenwater all the way down. As they get off the corner, white flag as McMillan leads. Deweese up to 2nd. Looks like some wrecking going on right in the back. You can see it back there. We'll cover that in a second. As more wrecking through 3 and 4. As Mac McMillan through the corner. Twice as nice. Back-to-back wins for the 88. Well, that's another way of celebrating. Oh, look out, guys. I'm sure I think you might regret that move a little bit. Well, we have a junkyard now in turn 3 and 4. Deweese getting 2nd. Chad Coleman 3rd. How about that move for E.J. O'Rourke? 2 tires gets him to 4th. Larry Pace ends up 12th with no tires. Parker ends up 8th with 2 tires. Let's get the winner up here. He is kind of destroyed his car over in turn 1. But Mac, you got the victory again, my man. What a finish there. Did you think you had a chance to win this thing at first? And then after that, it's like, all right, that caution comes out and changes everything for you.
Yeah, no, I did not. I'm not a big fan of Phoenix. I guess I know there's not a whole lot of people that are a big fan of this repay, but I just kind of found a lane that was working, and I think the pass came from me finding it before Tommy did, because when Tommy got up there, once I passed Tommy and finally cleared him, I think we might have touched a little, but we were racing hard, man, and I always enjoyed the heck out of racing with Tommy and Chad and folk, but I think it was just about getting to the outside and rolling that middle, diamond in the corner in 1 and 2. And I think I just got there a little bit quicker than he did, because once I passed him, he started like following the same lane I was doing. He was keeping pace and giving me fits. We were working hard, kind of sweaty.
I was going to say, how much work were we putting in? Because that was almost 80 lap green flag run there towards the end of that race.
I got a shower when I got off work. I'm going to need another.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. So, bonus question, that your car's destroyed in turn 1 there. Was that, did you just lose it, or were you celebrating?
I came off 4 and I was like, I'm just going to stay in it right here. And it got sideways and I was just like, oh, let me just go ahead and slide a little. I wasn't trying to blow it up, but I came back across the track and collected everybody.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, obviously, some great racing there. Any kind of flashbacks of last week when you see Larry on your inside?
Yes, yes. I came off the pit lane. I said, "Oh no, Larry's going to control this restart. This is going to be 3 wide going into 1," and I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
It was okay.
Oh, it
I
was.
thought it was. I thought it was. I was like, "Oh no!" I didn't know what to do. Like, I was like, "Man, we're not going to have but 2 laps. How many cars are in here? There's surely going to be a bunch stay out." And I was just about to stay out, and I saw Tommy duck down, and I was able to duck on down there. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I actually agree with that call. I agree. I thought that a lot of people might at least take 2 tires, especially those towards mid-pack, but it looks like only 2 of them did. So, and they finished in the top 10 for it. So they actually bonused out of it. So, but great job, man. 2 for 2, or at least in the last 2 weeks. And
hey, I'll take it.
Send some shout outs.
Yeah. Shout out to Larry. It's good seeing you again, buddy. You had me real scared there on the restart. And shout out to Tommy. Love racing with Tommy. Love racing with Chad, Calamari, Wesley, Tyler. I can name them all, man. This is a great league. Great. I really appreciate Joey for telling me to come on out and making me get in here.
Hey, it worked out for you. Other than the calamari, I think you did everything else right. So, great job tonight.
I'm not changing it.
Fair enough.
Thanks, buddy.
Hey, you too. Great job, man. Let's go for. Well, you get a week off, so go enjoy the week off, and we'll see you next week in Atlanta, or 2 weeks.
All right, Chris. Appreciate it, man.
You too, buddy. As Mac McMillan, I mean, you want to get the lottery numbers, call him. He'll give them to you. And celebrating another win here. Before we talk to Braxton, let's go through the finishing order. And there's a couple of names I want to point out here. As I was talking to Mac, I look over and see some of the finishing order, and I'm like, man, what happened? So I want to show the finishing order, and then I want to show the last lap really quickly, because a couple things I noticed here. McMillan, DeWeese, Coleman, E.J. O'Rourke with the 2-tire stop ends up 4th. Jose Gonzalez 5th, Callan Tony 6th, Tyler Dalton, Josh Parker, another 2-tire stop, ends up 8th. Mike Kelly, how about Jimmy Coleman, comes back to a top 10 finish there with Doy Woods 11th. Larry Pace ends up 12th, so he loses, I think, about 5 in the end with the no-tire stop. Tommy Ryan, that's the first name, 13th. He was inside 3 wide, coming to the white flag. So what happened to Tommy? I need to know. Matthew Martell, 14th. Stephen Miles, Bob Gillenwater, Nelson Rivera ends up in the 17th position when this is all said and done. So good, decent comeback there. Wesley Donaldson, 18th. Alan Wild, 19th. Connors, 20th. Eric Arnold, 21st. Cody Williams, 22nd. Wortman, 23rd, with Randy Yoakum, Scott Simley, Mike Montesi, 25th and 26th, the last cars on the lead lap. Trevor Hunt, 27th. 28th goes to Kevin Stone. Joe Hudson, 29th. Doug Sigmund, 30th. Sam Harrell, 31st. Andrew Teff, 32nd. Sean Burke, Patrick Langley, Gerald Livingston, Joey Jatina, Jeff Ryan, 37th. Reynolds, Karvlovich in 40th. Schweikert, Friery, and Brent Scott, who unfortunately wrecked on lap 1. All right, so I want to go back real quick before we bring Braxton up here. Tommy Ryan, what in the world happened? So as you see, there's the white flag. He's on the inside for second here. Oh, no, there's your answer. Oh, and he gets into Miles. Miles is down near Tucson. I mean, look at this. Oh, my gosh. There's still 3 and 4 wide here. There's a Daytona finish at Phoenix. Oh, doy. Well, at least it was exciting. But it looks like there might have been a little bit of echoed with Braxton. Let's see again. Of course, now the... Hang on. Oh, no, well... Here's the problem you have, and let me share this with those for those who do not know this. When you get down here on the apron, you technically don't have a spotter. Because the spotter pretty much covers from yellow line up. So you'll have a guy say car low, but then when you get down here, you don't know where low he is. Yeah, there's some net code. great save on Tommy's part, and I know he's going to be disappointed in that. So, oof. Let's get Braxton up here. A second place finish for the number 5, another top 5, and a great run. Pretty consistent all night, man, my guy.
I got you. I hear you now.
Well, obviously, a great second place run. That was a fun race. You were consistent all night. Can you hear?
Pretty good.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah. Yep. We were up there around the top 5, top 3, like you said, pretty much the whole night after starting 6th, I believe. So, that was pretty good to have the speed to stay up there and you just be within a second of the guys up front. I didn't have that little extra rotation that I needed in the middle of the corner that I believe could have put me up there even farther and potentially could have got me around them guys. It was really hard to pass tonight too. So if you could get on the outside, it'd be more of a chance like in 1 and 2. But it was definitely a little hard to pass. But it was really fun. You could actually really stay with each other a lot, and we didn't really see much of the front guys pull away too much there until kind of at the end, but still wasn't even that much. So that's always good to see some good racing and come down to the end. But glad we could come out with second place, and hopefully we can move on to Atlanta in 2 weeks, and hopefully we can get one spot better.
Obviously, the racing out there was pretty crazy. You mentioned the long run and the consistency that your car seemed to have with the tight center, which is to be expected with the track temp being it is. Was there anything you could have done to help the center without killing your entry?
I feel like if I could have just done a little more testing and testing different brake biases, or maybe even trying a 14-to-1 ratio just to see. I went with 12-to-1.
Okay.
Figured it'd probably be the best personally for me, but just a little bit more testing probably could have put me just a little that farther ahead. So next week we'll probably test or in a couple weeks we'll probably test a little bit more. If it's the old Atlanta, if it's the new Atlanta, then it's pretty much just a lot of drafting and whatnot and making sure you can stay up there and at least save the tire a little bit. That's what's one thing about Atlanta with the new super speedway package. You got to save just a teeny bit so you can stay at the long end, but that's pretty much just about it. So we'll see what we can do, and like I said, hopefully we can be one spot better.
Sounds good, man. Well, hey, great job tonight, and I think it is to do Atlanta, but I said we were going to be at the Legacy Phoenix too. So anyways, great job tonight, and send some shout outs to whoever you'd like to.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Definitely shout out to Booth 34 Diecast on the car. Diecast store in Mooresville, North Carolina at the Antiques on Main. It's pretty nice. It's actually a very beautiful building, old brick, and there's a pizzeria right next to it. Me and my buddies that we were down there when I went to school there, we had pizza, and it was really damn good. So you can go get some pizza, and you can go look for some diecast. He has a lot of old stuff and a lot of variety of old stuff too. So go give him a check out if you're ever in Mooresville or just in that area. I also want to give a shout out to Interstate Ford, Bennett's Publical, Jane's on Made, Alan's Arts Images, Unrivaled Cinematography, Blaze Designs, and everybody that tunes in, supports me week in, week out. We got to get that win in this league, the first one. So we'll try in a couple weeks, and we'll try the rest of the year, obviously, and see if we can, come out on top. So I appreciate you, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Sounds good. And I can name a few places out there in that Mooresville, Concord area that I've eaten myself in my short times there that you can go check out too. So I'm right there on the food list with you. But great job tonight.
Of course, yeah, for sure. Like Pie in the Sky, like Dale Jr. likes, just a couple. So
I haven't had that one.
It's nice. It's a nice area. It really is. They got the
It is.
original Whataburger from in the area. It's all original from what it was in the 50s or 60s, I believe. So that's pretty cool. So Mooresville's a nice little area. It's not just with the racing. It's a very nice area. Just like it's an old, nice looking town, and it's just a good place to be.
Absolutely, it's a good chicken place in Concord, or a good barbecue place in Concord. Just gonna throw that out.
Yeah,
there.
they got them all right there. Yeah, they got them all. So
all
pretty much what we're saying is go down there and check it out.
Go eat when you go to a race at Charlotte. Just saying.
That's right. Yep.
Good job there. Good job, buddy.
I appreciate it. Have a good one.
You too. Max Doise a second place finish here tonight at the Phoenix Raceway. His career best finish after a third a couple weeks ago for him. And then the old Iron Man goes and gets himself a P2 here tonight. And did he move around in chat? I don't see his name. Oh, he's down here in unacceptable now. Okay, I guess he moved chats, but trying to throw me a curveball where he's hiding out tonight. But Chad Coleman finishes in the third position. Night, Chad, a consistent run for you. And then, of course, you get that caution that just throws everything to the, whatever you want to call it, the trash or whatever, and sets up the race to finish the way it did, and it worked out for you.
Yeah, sometimes you get lucky. I think I was probably going to either finish 5th or so right there. I know I had Larry and Jose all over me right there. I was doing a good job of holding them off and holding them up, whichever way you want to look at it. But I got extremely loose, like center off, and I was really tight entry to center. So I'd go in the corner and it'd get a little tight, and then I'd come off and it'd get really loose, and so I was riding a struggle bus after about 40 laps.
Is that too much wheel maybe on in the middle going to the loose, or was that just something weird going on?
No, I was telling Tommy and them when I was down there. That's why I was talking to them. I was like, because we was all running around the same brake bus, and I told them, I said, about a month ago I downloaded a new drivers for my brakes, for my pedals, and I redone my brake calibration, and I set a new min and max on it, and I think I might be off on that. I think the max is earlier now than what it was, so I think I was actually hurting the tires trying to drag the brake into the corner.
Ah, that would make sense. You were you looking on the last lap more in the mirror to watch the battle, or out the windshield to get to the front?
We was looking straight ahead. I know we come off of 2 and we split Larry, and I about busted my ass off the corner, and I'm like, well, there goes that. And then I was like, well, EJ's on 2, so let's see if we can go back and get him. So I ran it hard, and then I was like, yeah, I can get EJ. He's like, I wanted 3rd. I told him, I was like, shit, I was going to run you into the wall.
Straight Kyle Larson, boys. Come here, Newman.
Yeah, we got gifted. Told Tommy right there, said, they always said I was gifted during school, so I figured now I got me a gifted podium. So we'll take it. And I ain't talking about one of those gifted smart.
I know what you meant.
Yeah. Like, that boy's smart.
Well, you got gifted better because EJ would have gotten that would have been a real big gift for him to get a top 3. But I mean, he ran 20th all night. So
yeah, I hated to see what happened to Tommy, but I mean when you get down on the apron, this thing bounced like a damn ball all night. You would turn off right there, and it would just pogo the front end, and that kind of looks like what happened. Like he got down there and it pogoed the front end, and then the 5 was down there on his door, and they kind of touched, and that sucked.
It actually looked like netcode, but the one thing that too I think is a good reminder: you get down below that line, there's no spotter anymore.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to tell you, hey, this car's here, or he's way up the track, or where he's at. You're kind of going blind.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I kind of hate it for Tommy. He's had a rough year finishing races, and tonight he ran up front all race. I mean, this was by far the hardest this ever been to pass at Phoenix. I'm not sure what's going on with the track. If it's something to do with the dynamic track stuff,
it's got to be. That has to be my guess.
Man, it's helped a bunch of other tracks, but dude, it killed this one. Like it was damn near impossible to pass. Parker said during the middle of the race, he's like, dude, I can't get no further than 17th. He said, I'm just stuck here.
Makes you wonder if maybe the slickness of the track too didn't help.
Yeah, I don't know. It was something, but yeah, it was extremely hard to pass. Like Larry and Jose right there at the end, they probably had a 10th on me, and I ran the middle and the top to keep momentum.
Right.
And they couldn't gas up and turn under me.
Hey, just wait for the next gens here in a few weeks.
Yeah, that'll be interesting seeing how much we can shift. I know they changed some stuff with in NASCAR and everything, so
right.
It'll be something to see what we're doing.
All right, buddy. Throw some shout outs out.
Yeah, just thank you for broadcasting. We'll go back, give this one a look and a listen, and thank Joey and everybody at Sim500 for giving us a place to race, and thank 811 for sponsoring the series and the Cup Series coming up here in a couple of weeks. And give a shout out to Wesley for painting this car and his diecast company and everything on the side of it with WBD Diecast. He's I actually got a car coming from him, so
nice.
I'll let everybody know what it looks like. If it looks like crap, then I'm gonna be like, yeah, Wesley's cars look good.
Maybe it'll look like the one you have here on the screen. But well, great job tonight, man. Congratulations, and don't beat me up too bad when you hear me kind of get Tommy's stats wrong during the race. Yeah, had one of those
Poor
moments.
Tommy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Hey, you too, buddy. Be safe. Chad Coleman, 3rd place finisher here tonight, as he was gifted 3rd, as he said, quote unquote. That's a quote from him. when it's all said and done. So we'll let him get down. I tried to move him. There he goes. Down to that channel. Man, what a finish. What a... I want to watch that Secrets of Events for fourth again. I mean, look at this is at Phoenix, and we're out here. First, Tommy gets loose under Braxton. And then from there, it's like all hell breaks loose. I mean, they're already starting to work back here. Look at this mess. And there's Tommy getting sideways. You know nobody's checking up because white flag's out. So then a Daytona race breaks out. Cars wrecking each other everywhere. And we're still in the Daytona race, by the way. Yeah, Parker's there with 2 tires. You got Pace in there with no tires. You got people with 4 tires in here. Everybody hitting everybody. And that was the finish back here for like 5th. And what we didn't see, let's go back to the actual wrecks now on that final lap. They come off turn 4, and I know one's going to happen right in here somewhere. That's Tommy getting his save, and then right there, Eric Arnold, 51, gets together with Simley and Montesi. Then Arnold gets loose. They're still wrecking back there. And they're still wrecking. 51 finally goes around all the way. I'm sorry, that's Wortman. Oh, all people, Brian Wortman got turned. And then back here, Arnold, Kevin Stone, Montesi, the 45, the 98. Or what we call the last race of an iRacing event. Watch out, Wortman! All right, well, that's one way to go. All right, tomorrow night we'll be back here at 8:15. Get you ready for some cup racing from Daytona in their Clash event. They get ready for the 2024 NC811 Cup Series season. That'll kick off here at, again, 8:15. Before that, we'll record the podcast and get it launched out by Wednesday, hopefully, episode number 5, as we'll talk about this race here. We'll talk about the other events of this week and so on and so forth. So that should be a lot of fun. But appreciate everybody for joining us this evening here from the Phoenix Raceway as we head out. Always remember, this isn't just a game. It is iRacing. See ya!
This copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, reused, or retransmitted in any form without the authorized written consent of Captain Esports Network. Captain would like to thank all of his loyal fans for your continued support, and he hopes you enjoyed today's broadcast.
The following is a special presentation. From the Captain Esports Network.